Let's see. Let me know if you get a little message or something. Hopefully you.
Yep, it said recording in progress.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, Daniel, nice meeting you. I am Missy Duncan. I am representative for Texoil. Yeah, Texoil. Um, Hold on a second. My computer's frozen and I can't see anything. Can you hear me? Is it glitching?
I can. Yep, it's all good.
Okay. All right, cool. I think I'm good now. Like all of my like screen went like I have two screens and the whole screen went totally black. I couldn't see anything. Okay. Yeah, so nice meeting you. Thanks for meeting with me today. So got wind that you are wanting to sell. I'm really sad to hear that as yeah, we've had such a great relationship for about the last 12 years or so. So
Yep.
really just looking to get more information on what is prompting you to sell. I know it said family reasons, but not exactly sure what that means. Are you able to elaborate on, some of the details of why you're looking to sell?
Yeah, sure. So I guess we've been in the business now and independent owner operators for the past 12 years or so. Obviously there are things growing with the port around the station right now, which I think is great in terms of future business. But partner and I are just kind of looking to take the next chapter in our lives and try to do something a little bit different than running the station. So
Okay.
been
Has
our
there,
yeah.
have there been any steps in, prior to just saying, okay, I'm ready to sell it? Have there been any other steps gone into, maybe trying to keep it, maybe trying to get somebody else to run it? And kind of run the day to day and you guys have sort of like passive income at all, or it's just, you're just ready to kind of be done with it?
Yeah, we haven't explored those options. Certainly not opposed to them. I think we started going down a path of looking for potential buyers to see what that could bring us, but certainly open to all alternatives, I guess. Let's say we just haven't had those discussions between ourselves yet.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Well, I mean, we're obviously definitely interested in purchasing if that's what your ultimate decision is. Texoil is a pretty large company. We're looking to expand, over the next 5 years or so. It's a great area. It's an up and coming area, one that we definitely want to remain in. There's not a lot of competition in the area, but I think that there will be a lot of competition coming into the area. So we would like to kind of stay in front of that. Um, Also, Texel is a pretty big brand. We would like to keep it that, instead of you selling, to anyone else. Not sure if you have any other offers on the table at the moment. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to discuss the details of that if you did, but we're looking to. This is ultimately something that we want to make sure that we stay in front of. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, partner and I have spent, like I said, the last 12 years building this business. Obviously, with the Texoil name, I think a lot of the customers that we got today are loyal to that brand. So, we'd certainly want to sell or partner up with somebody who like Texoil. That would be an advantage for us, I think, just from a personal standpoint to kind of maintain that relationship. There are at least two other interested parties right now. I think that are, probably looking at the area and the station for similar reasons as yourself. I think they see the potential growth in it and potential opportunity that it could bring. So, but we haven't settled anything with them as of yet.
okay. And what is your temperature and maybe potentially keeping it, with, maybe some new management, maybe doing any sort of joint venture, any of that sort type of stuff, or is selling really your ultimate goal just to kind of move on from it?
I think right now selling's our ultimate goal. Again, I'm
Okay.
not opposed to discussing those things, but quite frankly, I don't have the details as to what the alternative paths would look like. So, I think my partner and I were planning to kind of do something really completely different. Kind of fulfilling some
Okay.
of our live streams. there may be a time in the future when we look to get back into it, but I think we've set at least on venturing out and trying a few new things, at least in the near term for the first couple of years.
Okay. Well, based on just some of the information that we have available to us, with land in the area, especially with it being so up and coming, with the expense that it would cost to build something new, especially with all new equipment and all of that kind of good stuff, we would be in the ballpark of around, pretty close to $800,000 to make all of that happen. Um, that's not something that we're, interested in doing, but I think we would prefer to keep the station where it is and how it is. But there is a pretty big expansion that would need to happen with that. We would want to turn it into a mini mart. We need to make it 24 hours based on what everyone else in the area is doing. It
Yeah.
is also pretty old, so we would have to upgrade a lot of the equipment. So with that, we're estimating that expense would be in the ballpark of around somewhere between around $350,000 or so to do all of that. So
Okay.
with that, I think our starting point on this based on, with the annual, I think you said you're bringing in about $75,000 a year annually,
Right.
on it. So I think obviously we would want to be fair and make sure that you have that for a certain set amount of years. So I think our initial ask would be about 375,000. That would be, that would give you guys about 5 years worth of your annual income to help rebuild whatever it is that you're wanting to rebuild. It also gives us some wiggle rooms for any of the unknowns. We haven't performed any inspections or anything like that. Again, the station's pretty old. Equipment, there's a lot of equipment upgrades that would need to go into it. So I think $375,000 is where we'd be comfortable based on all of that information.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the the equipment, like I said, it's been around for 12 years, so it is depreciated at this point, and understand that the station today isn't set up for the mini market. It's not set up yet for really staffed yet with 24/7 service, like we see some competitors doing, because there is a night shift now with the port kind of operating throughout the entire day, which I think brings in a lot more potential customer base, as well, that I think any buyer would want to capture that market share. From our standpoint, looking at what we've put into it, what we're looking to get out of it, and kind of gauging that against housing prices, or say land prices in the area, and cost to kind of rebuild this thing. We were looking more towards the lines of like 690,000 for it,
Okay.
lock, stock, and barrel. So um, we're a little bit far apart. So maybe there's something we can do there to come to a place where we can.
Yeah, and I mean at 690,000, we're close to being able to just build another one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land in the area. Obviously where you are is an ideal location, but it's not the only location in the area. So, that would be close to us just being able to not have the headache of doing that and just building another one.
Yeah.
Not all the way, but pretty close. So I think $690,000 is definitely, and I'm actually not even, a vice president or, of Texoil. I just happened to be in the area and I sort of offered to handle the negotiation
Sure.
for, the vice president of operations. So there is a certain price that I've been authorized to go up to, and 690,000 is pretty far off of that.
Okay.
I don't know, is there any logic to that number? It's kind of a specific number. Is there any logic to that number that you can provide?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think again, I think we just looked at kind of the value of the land, the value of the station today. So to your point as well, I think Texoil would look at what it would cost to build a comparable station, in that area, based on the real estate prices. So I think that's primarily where we're coming at it from, looking to kind of get a fair market offer for it. That said, I know you guys are looking to expand into into the mini market space, if you will, with it, kind of bolting that onto it. So Maybe there's something we could do from our end on the price standpoint to give you guys a little more leeway in terms of getting a mini market in there, kind of rehabbing some of the equipment or updating some of the equipment and getting you guys to a point where you're not spending a year or two waiting for permits and things like that to get a building done so you can get out in front of the market. Um, I think maybe time is on both of our parts, maybe something we should consider in terms of closing something quicker as opposed to later, right? So for us, closing closing a deal quicker provides some advantages, and I think from Texoil standpoint that probably does the same as well in terms of you'll have a station where you can start bringing in income and start rather than tearing down and building up new, you can have a footprint already that you can kind of expand on and already have an existing customer base there. So, and maybe there's something we can look at again from a timing standpoint that makes this more attractive to both of us as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think we would be willing to, this is obviously a business that we're already in, something that would
Mhm.
be turnkey for us. Obviously we would need to ramp up staff. Now, is it just you and your partner that are running this, or do you have other staff, or do you guys kind of run it yourselves?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it is just my partner and I that are the full owner operators for this. Yeah. So we
Okay, so
we
there's
have
no
not yet
other,
hired on stuff, right.
yeah, so
There's
there's no
not.
other employees. Okay. Yeah, so we would need time obviously to find some to find proper management and things like that for it. But other than that, I mean, we would be willing, and we have some other ones, not in the exact area, but in the general area. So we could pull some people over to make it happen really quick. I mean, you are a large company, we can do an all cash deal, close on it really quickly, make it sort of seamless and low maintenance for you. But with that, we would need to be closer to our, top of the range there. So,
Okay.
I mean, would you be willing to come down to maybe like $450,000 for that? But still, that's more, that's about what is that? Yeah, it's about 6 years worth of income that you would have if you still owned the store. Now, of course, I don't know anything about the investment that you've put into it and all that over the last 12 years. But that would at least, as if you owned the store with no headache of owning the store for about the next 6 years while you work out, the next steps in your all's lives.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, good question. I mean, the investment that we're planning to make, in terms of the next chapter for our lives is sizable. So when we consider selling price, we've also got to consider the capital gains taxes that are associated with that, right? So, the price that we sell at, obviously, in comparing that to, what the government looks at in terms of capital gains, we gotta pay the tax man as well, right? So. I
Yeah.
think your offer's pretty close. If we could get up to the say 575 range or so, I think we'd probably be able to do something there where I think it'll allow you guys to get in the market quickly and then allow us to bring away the cash that we needed to fund our next investments.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, so would there be any interest in maybe doing, I don't know, maybe doing like the 450,000 up front and then maybe another 50,000 like in a couple months or in a year or so to, I mean, that could help with the capital gains a little bit, right? You wouldn't have to pay so many taxes right then and there, but
Sure.
and maybe kind of meet in the middle at around 500,000, but do 450,000 up front and then 50,000 after we get in there and start going and making some income on it and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think that reduces some of the risk on your end, right? So that's advantageous, and then for us, get some cash flow, started for our investment, and then helps fund us in future years. So is the 50K you're thinking a one-time thing a year later, or is that what I guess expand upon your
Yeah,
thought
I think
process a
after,
little bit?
because again, we would have to have time to get ramped up, get somebody in there, get some income flowing, have time to do some of the upgrades that we're going to be doing. That will need cash up front to handle. So I would say yes, we would do $450,000 today, or when everything's signed, and then we would do $50,000, maybe 12 months from this day that it's signed. Again, that way we would have time to kind of do everything that we need to do and have all that cash on hand.
Okay. Do you think it'd be possible to, keep the 450, but bump up that one time to about 75K then?
Let me look. See.
I'm trying to do math in my head too, as I,
Yeah. Um, let me see. Um, what if we did it to where we would kind of split it in half so you would see the cash earlier? So what if we were to do, let's just give it 6 months. We would
Okay.
do 450,000 now, 25,000 in 3 months, and then the final 25,000 in another 3 months. So 6 months total, and for a total selling price of $500,000.
Okay. Give me one sec here. Let me get my other screen going.
And really, something else that if you're at all interested, I don't know when, what your next move is in life, but
Yep.
we are going to need somebody to run it, starting immediately as soon as we buy it. And so maybe there's something we could work out too, to where we just pay you some sort of management fee to help us run it until we get staffed up. So in addition to the selling price, we would you and your partner, or your partner could stay on as sort of just until we're able to staff up.
Okay.
So that would be some additional income. You wouldn't have any of the capital involved in it. You wouldn't have any of the expense of running it. You would just be there helping manage it and helping, recruit new workers and things for it. That way we don't have to have a period of close down while we work all of these things out.
Okay.
Obviously, you have great knowledge of the industry. We're going to have to do a ton of equipment upgrades and things like that. You can kind of help manage the day to day of that. We could agree to some sort of, I don't know, percentage. And I think we would be open to your input on that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if, I mean, I think the labor market's tough right now, and finding the appropriate managers and staff is going to be a challenge, and take a little bit of time. If maybe there is a 6 month transition period, and we looked at that 6 months as kind of, a percentage of, half the salary type of thing, maybe we could work it like that. So,
Yeah. And I think we would be willing to even pay as much as what you were making annually just for
okay.
the 6 months. To like I said, run the day to day, help us get the equipment updated, just be there, because obviously we're going to have someone there, right? It would
Sure.
be
Yeah.
very beneficial to all of us to have that person, someone who is as knowledgeable as you and has been there for such a long time running it anyway.
Sure. Yeah, I guess from our perspective, I mean that sounds good. I think that starts to work for us better. I mean, I think from selfishly from our standpoint, that helps us, kind of maintain a little bit of a fingerprint on the business and make sure that the transition and the customers are taken care of through that process. I guess, with looking at 6 months, so I guess we'd probably want to have that in writing, right? Because I think my partner
Yeah.
is ready to move on, and if I tell her it's 6 months and it ends up being a year, we
Yeah.
might not be partners after that. So,
No, I think, and we would have a great action plan mapped out to where 6 months, it would be a flat 6 months from the
okay,
date that we're signed the contract. Obviously, you would turn over ownership to us, but you would just continue to run the day to day, and help
okay,
us get the new management on board, help us get everything sort of where it needs to be to take the next step.
okay, all right. So you're thinking then the offer price of the 450K? Write my
Mhm.
notes down here, with total of 50K afterwards, and then 6 months of us working through that transition at 75K. Is that what I've
Yep,
think I've written
absolutely.
down
So
correctly?
it would
Okay.
be $450,000 up front. You would get
Okay.
another $25,000 3 months from the date of the contract. And then you would get another
Okay.
the final $25,000 6 months from the date of the contract. And then
Okay.
that would be for a total of $500,000 for the sale of the business. And then we would
Okay.
be paying you $75,000 for 6 months from the date of the contract to run the business while we transition.
Okay.
And again, that's, I hopefully you guys aren't out of it forever. I mean, you've been great partner over the last 12 years. We have a lot of expansion planned in all different areas. So it's if you're just looking to move to a different area, we're planning to build like 100 stations over the next 5 years. So
Okay.
we have a lot of growth planned. So maybe if it's just that you need a break for a minute, I know owning a business is overwhelming at times. So you just need a break to, spread your wings and go do something different. But then hopefully this would be sort of a bridge to, if you're ever interested in, partnering with us again, that would definitely be an opportunity that we would be interested in down the line as well.
Okay.
So how does that sound on your end?
I think that sounds, pretty good. I think it sounds fair. I
Okay.
think it'd be our preference to stick and, partner with you guys through this. You guys have been a good partner, obviously, and want to see the Texoil name there and keep that customer base, which is loyal to that brand. So I think that sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like we have a deal. I will draft up the contract and get it over for your people to sign. And obviously, again, I'm not the signer of the contracts, but I'll draft everything up. I don't think we win any out of any of the parameters that were put in place for me. So I think that we have a done deal.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. And yeah, we will be in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And I guess that could end the recording. And,
Sure.
truly, as a person, Missy to Daniel,